Good morning to you. Another episode of the Sports Card Dad.
Good morning to you, Card Father. Saturday morning, and this is it.
I've got Rob Veris, the Card Father, is here with us today from Burbank Sports Cards. We're just going to dive right into it. How you doing, Rob?
Oh, frantic, to be honest with you. Got this date set, and I'm looking around going, there's no way in hell it's going to get done. But everyone's going to be putting in 12s. It's going to get done. So it's a little intense right now.
I know I felt bad because I was trying to figure out if it's better to do this call before the store opens or after, just because I know it's going to be ballistic afterwards too. But you just said, hey, let's go ahead and roll with it. So it is Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. And we'll just kind of go, we'll dive right into it. My first question, so I do these kind of candid talks where it's a little bit more kind of below the surface, try to get some of the, I guess, just more detailed info from you. And you're a really interesting character in this hobby for one particular reason in my mind is, we're seeing Fanatics is really taking control of the hobby. They own Tops, they own Fanatics Collect, Fanatics Live, Fanatics Repacks. They're opening up direct hobby stores. And you made an announcement. Actually, the first time I met you face-to-face was at last year's National, briefly down in the media room, right before you guys announced that you were moving over to Fanatics Collect from eBay. And it was a huge announcement. And so now here we are, we're almost a year later, and now we've got the mega store Death Star opening up down there in Southern California. At times, everything has gone kind of wild. I think the one thing that I wanted to ask you is, you're somebody that's close to Fanatics. You obviously have their ear, and how do you feel like they take feedback from you? Because you're somebody that's been in this a long time. If they were looking for, hey, how do we bring in more collectors into the space? I feel like you would be the person, probably number one, to talk to on the subject.
Yeah, no, I do talk to them on a pretty regular basis as far as, they have different funnels basically and different CEOs running each of these. And we have conversations. They pretty much know where I stand. And as someone that is totally vested with the store and our relationship with Fanatics and everything that we'll be doing online with Fanatics and the kind of events that we're going to run out of this store with Fanatics, we have a lot of things that we're doing with them. But on the other side, I've never been a proponent of breaks, which is a part of their ecosystem that's quite large. And I've made it known why. We've had the different conversations about it. And at the end of the day, they're going to do what's best for them. I'm going to do what's best for me. And it's my job to do what's best for the consumer and let them decide how they're going to spend the money. And I'm hoping with what we're building here, it'll give people a different perspective of the hobby and, hopefully change some collecting habits to folks that are actually collecting, building, enjoying their cards, and put together something that 5 years from now they're going to enjoy looking at. So, what they're doing, it's wonderful. Their marketing is incredible. I think that what we're going to have over the next 5-10 years, because of everything that they're doing, is going to put eyeballs on this like we've never seen. It's our jobs as store owners to, act on that and be able to take advantage of all those new eyeballs that are coming in. So I love what they're doing because they're building billboards, and we need as many billboards in the hobby as possible. And we need the billboard in Times Square. We might not need it in a suburb outside of Topeka, those billboards. We need them where people are going to see them, and only Fanatics can put that together. So I'm a fan. If they want to open more stores, open more stores. If they have that marketing going to that store, people are going to find other stores. So, it levels up competition. It makes it where we all need to be better. And I think that has worked when Fanatics said we need better looking stores. If you want allocation, guess what? People improved their stores. And I think this is the same thing. If they're going to put a store in your neck of the woods, you better be good at a lot of things that Fanatics doesn't do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And just kind of going back to some of the talk I've heard from you over the last year, you had said, especially on like the IG lives, that we need to have more stores that are just better retailers. And that was actually going to be a question in 2025. Are you seeing improvement in this area? And it sounds like you have, based on what you just said from other stores. At the Tops conference, where it was primarily, a lot of store owners in attendance like yourself, did you get the impression that more and more store owners were going to be trying to follow kind of more of that Burbank singles model, or be doubling down on hobby gambling products like breaks, repacks, and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question. Certainly better retailers. You have these great retailers that are opening up their second, third, fourth, seventh stores right now. I had conversations with people. I was talking to Monmouth Cards, and we never really talked before. And he was talking about the seventh store that they're opening, and my head just hurt thinking about it. And then I went on IG to see what their stores look like. They look beautiful. You know, I see what Chris Costa's doing, and I'm just floored at how nice those stores look and the marketing, the branding, the whole Tom Brady thing. I think it's wonderful. And that goes for stores all over the country. They don't need to be multi stores, you know, just single stores. I follow almost everybody on IG as far as all the different stores out there. And I just see, you know, quantum leaps from what I saw 2, 3 years ago. And I think that people are leveling up. And I think that people's reliance just on breaking isn't as strong as it used to be. I think people are looking at the retail model with singles as, a bigger part of the component of their business.
Now, for those that maybe don't watch IG as much, that are kind of more YouTubers, just to kind of give them an overview, I kind of view what you're doing that there is kind of like building the great pyramids of sports card TCG singles in your new store. It kind of almost reminds me of like a Netflix model for a sports card store, like collect on demand. You mentioned that you're going to have a couple of kiosks where you walk up and essentially you're able to type in player, card set, and then I guess employees will just get those cards on demand for them. Is that kind of how this is going to go?
Yeah, we have 2 kiosks and they're beautiful. It looks like you're walking into an Apple store. It's not going to be enough now that I'm thinking about it, but they're a couple grand a piece. They're really nice. But yeah, you'll be able to go up, and Dustin Pedroia is your favorite baseball player going back to when you're a kid. And I've got 250 names back here. We can talk about that in a minute. But I don't have a Dustin Pedroia box, nor should I, in Burbank, California. But you'll be able to go up to that kiosk, type his name in. I might have 400 different Dustin Pedroia cards available with images. You'll be able to shop it, pay for it, and we'll be able to pull it in real time as you're shopping. So we're basically building a physical eBay store.
And you have a PSA submission center in the store, so technically they could pull it, grade it, or if they wanted to.
We're trying to create the ultimate flywheel for the customer, and having PSA's first retail store come in here is just wild to me. But yeah, we want to meld the physical and virtual is really the goal of this building. We're going to have over 1 million cards on the floor, starting at a quarter that you can put your hands on by year and by sport, with really no base commons. So is one of the things I'm really proud of in here. Yeah, I'm trying to build the ultimate collector experience. And I think that's about putting hands on cards. It's about price points. It's about organization. It's about customer satisfaction. And I'm hoping to veer people away from the fractionalized gambling and that quick, shot of dopamine, and get them into going, there are so many cool ways to collect cards here. So that's the goal. And we've spent a lot of money building it, and hopefully people appreciate it and enjoy it.
Now, how have you, and I guess this is probably going to be a moving target for you, but what happens if there's, long lines at the kiosk? Are you almost is it going to be like Sonic, where you have people, on roller skates that walk up to the guy in the line and say, hey, what are you looking for? Maybe I can look for this while you're waiting, or, staffing that has got to be a job in itself.
Yeah, there's going to be some first world problems in this place. And, there'll be some growing pains. I think some of the things that we're going to have are going to be so popular that it's going to be a backup, and we're trying to prevent that. We actually have a way for people to do that from home and be able to place the order from home as well, where we'll have it ready.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have that option hopefully ready as well. Most people don't know that we have 2.4 million unique cards in inventory, and we're basically taking our eBay store and planting it physically. We got about 18,000 feet, and literally it's still not enough for all the cards. We actually bringing over the cards, all 40 million of them, and we realized, and I'm like, holy shit, it doesn't all fit. Because we have another 4,000 foot building, which we think would cover the rest, and it didn't. And we've racked it to the gills. So we literally have to go back and eliminate 95% Fleer and 89 Donruss, because we've got just such massive quantities. I'm like, I can make those disappear and nobody will know the difference, just to come up with the shelving to make everything fit. So we're excited. We are looking to change collecting habits, and that's really the goal of this place.
Yeah, when you say change collecting habits, is it just more of, because it sounds to me like your store will be like no other really maybe on the planet, definitely in the United States, the way that it's set up. Because as we've talked about, I mean, a lot of the big stores, or not even big stores, but a lot of stores have a breaking component to them, or they have a repack component to them. And it doesn't sound like that you're going to have that, at least initially. Is it something that you're open-minded to as far as breaking goes? Maybe like personal breaks. I think we've talked about this before. You and I have a similar mindset on breaking a repack and the gambling. So just going in that direction is probably not the greatest long-term plan, is something that we both agree on. However, something I've seen in kind of the Pokemon world, where someone buys a box of cards and their favorite streamer, you know, maybe you mark it up $1 a pack or something, and your favorite streamer opens it for you and sends you all those cards. I don't necessarily have as much of an issue with a personal break, because to me, that's just someone's opening the packs instead of you that you would like, and you're sharing that with community, and then you're getting the cards anyway. There's no randomization to it. You're not buying break spots. You know, they're just opening a box. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, I'll never say never to anything but breaking. We can go over why in a second, but someone opening a box that's a celebrity for somebody, I don't see any harm in that, as long as the VIG above what the normal box price isn't exorbitant.
Right.
Because I think the breaking thing is fine. You know, in general, you're taking a $300 box and, you know, you're fractionalizing it by the pack and selling the packs for $30 each or $32. To me, that's fractionalizing. That's making it where people make it more affordable. That's basically pack selling that's been around for ever since the game originally started. Oh shoot, you there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff Garland literally just popped up on my screen. He just texted me. But then once you start slicing and dicing it, and by team and by player, the VIGs get so big and the price per card just starts to escalate, that I'm really not doing my customers any favors. I'm basically charging them as much as double per card to be part of this break, and I won't do it. I don't think it's healthy. It's just something we don't believe in. It's not part of my brand. And yep. I that's where I could basically leave that. We will sell you boxes all day long at competitive prices. We'll have packs for a lot of those at competitive prices. But taking a $300 box and making it $480 by fractionalizing it just doesn't work for me. It's, you know, and what I'll say this is, we aim for 100% customer satisfaction. And I've mentioned this before. When you're in breaks, 85% of the people don't come out of that financially happy, or just happy in general. If I only had a 15% customer satisfaction, people walking my store, I'd be out of business in a week. But that's what we push forward as that biggest of billboards in the industry. And I can't have it. And we aim for 100%. And with breaking and breakers, they certainly don't do that. So it's a different mindset. We're in this for decades to come. We've never been about the fast buck. We've always done what's difficult and try to do it to scale and try to do things the right way for the customer. It's my choice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now you've got the grand opening event that's coming up this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. I've got a Metallica concert this weekend in Charlotte. So unfortunately, I can't get out to the West Coast, but I am coming. I'm going to come to that store. Absolutely. What can we expect from the grand opening event? And then what are examples of just events that you guys plan to run, you know, at the store, and maybe you have been running?
A grand opening is going to be chaos, because I'm not just opening this store or opening the first PSA retail store as well concurrently. Everybody says they're on Friday. I mean, the place is big. It's not that big. There's going to be lines. It's, you know, we have a DJ. It's going to be really kind of a fun atmosphere. We're actually going to have a basketball hoop outside, where there'll be some different contests that PSA is putting on. And there's going to be the most insane selection of cards. We beat the National as far as the amount of cards, organized cards that'll be on this floor. And wow. I think people are going to walk in here and just realize it truly is a card show. And we're hoping that we can create the stickiness where they want to come back multiple times a week. That's the goal. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, if you can wait and you don't need to be here on Friday, I kind of recommend that you don't. We're going to hopefully get everybody through here. But just the sheer amount of people that will be here for PSA, because we get lines around the block for PSA when they do drop-offs as a one-off thing.
Yeah.
This is entirely different. So, yeah, I think it's going to be chaos. We're putting 70 showcases in here right now. We're getting them in here, getting them aligned and set up. We've been holding a lot of stuff back for today. For Friday. So they can expect to see the best selection of basically damn near everything in this place day one.
It's awesome. So you're somebody, and again, kind of in a unique spot because you also have your kids working there. So this is a multi-generational business that obviously you're in it for the long haul. What is your outlook as far as the future in a time when the card hobby, it's really never been more popular? You guys are reinvesting like crazy. I mean, you're all in on a hobby that is extremely popular right now. I guess what advice would you give a new sports card store owner coming into the business, and what are you kind of excited about, other than of course this mega store that you've got coming open?
Yeah, I think that the biggest blessing is that we're 3 generations. My father has been at this building every single day since we got it. General contractor for decades. Everything you'll look at in this place, he's had his fingerprints on, and he's done it. And this is our 5th location. He's had his fingerprints on every single one of them. Wouldn't be possible without him. He's 84 and he's literally moving like he's doing 12s right now, which is just crazy. But then again, I have my son basically is the brains behind this anymore. Ryan is the guy. And my daughter just came on board, and she's 25 and never thought I'd ever get her. She went off to college to do other things. She went into the corporate world, and she kind of saw what we were doing between the card show and this, and she wanted to come into the family fold and come into the business. And I'm like, it's the best thing ever. So got both my kids. She'll be doing events. She'll be doing social media. She'll be on the floor, just being her giggly, bubbly self. And I couldn't be more excited. My wife's coming on board for more hours. She's been running the books since '89. And
wow, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Well, very excited with the whole family component. As far as the future, I don't think that we would be going and taking over 18,000 square feet if we didn't look at the future in a positive light. The industry is going to be whatever the industry is going to be, but I feel that what we're building here could be hobby proof. It could be some idiot out there making decisions that impact things in the wrong way, whether it's politically, whether it's within the hobby. We've always wanted to card show proof art business, eBay proof, Amazon proof, card show proof, everything proof. And I think what we're building here isn't just reliant on what a lot of other people do. I think what we're going to be doing here is something that a hobbyist can still walk in here with $20 and walk out of here with a smile. So we tend to do better if things get worse. It's funny how that works, but we've seen it all. We've seen the player strikes. We've seen the economic collapses. We've seen the overproduction, and we've continued to thrive through it. And I think I've built a dream team of people here that run every sector of this business that I'm confident will continue to grow with.
Do you think there's going to be some consolidation? And I know there's always consolidation in every business, but just given the way that Topps is kind of put out there, or Fanatics is like, hey, this is how stores need to look, and it does feel like you're going to have kind of like these Disneyland card store, like yours is kind of Disneyland down there in Southern California for card stores. And you have the West Coast Card Show. It's all kind of one big thing out there that you have going on. But do you think we're going to see less of kind of maybe mom and pop, type card stores and more of a Burbank, Cards HQ, Bullpen, kind of the name brands, like brands get bigger, type thing?
It doesn't matter how big the store is. I don't care if it's 14,000 feet or 4,000 or 2,000 feet. What matters is what's in it. What matters is customer service. What matters is selection, organization, price points. I don't think that somebody comes in with a 10,000 square foot store 2 miles away from a guy that's been there for 25 years in a 2,000 square foot store, his store is probably still going to be better because of the inventory that he's built, the customer bases that he's built, the organizations, maybe the e-commerce components. Bigger isn't necessarily better, and I think people get that backwards in this industry. A lot of people come in with a big store, but I look at the inventory, I'm like, that could fit in a store a quarter of the size, and still look good. And I see stores with big murals on the walls inside. I'm like, that could be a hell of a lot of product right over there. And I see these giant open spaces, and that's great, but the inventory doesn't match up with a lot of these older stores. And you know, so that's what I see is size doesn't necessarily matter in this business. Experience, customer service, organization, selection, liquidity, all of those things. A lot of stores aren't going to be sitting there and scared if when big store comes in. Tom Brady wants to open a store every single month. That's great. I love it. You do what you want to do, but he's never going to be able to build an inventory of a store that's been there for 20 years and grinding 7 days a week and purchasing and organizing and building clientele. So I think there's over there.
And as you mentioned too, when I saw Tom Brady stores, I don't think those are going to be mega stores as far as size goes. Those are going to be more of kind of boutique stores is what they look like. They'll be really nice, you know, and they'll have product and that sort of a thing, but they're not, I don't see any one of them being huge.
No, I think they're going to have maybe a 12 to 1,500 square foot footprint in high traffic locations. I think they're going to be amazing billboards for the industry. What Fanatics just landed in London, I'm like, holy smoke, a whole entire continent just all of a sudden learned about sports card shops, you know, through having Lewis Hamilton there and the marketing behind it. I want Tom to open 100 stores. I think that's awesome, but I don't think that they will compete with a lot of stores in their area. And a lot of times they're probably going to have a little bit of a different pricing structure in places like those as well, especially at stadiums. And they'll be able to get more money for their product in those types of places. So I don't view them as competition. Tom can open one down the block, and I think that we would work off each other. Perfect. I think that we'll have two different businesses entirely. And I love the fact that Fanatics wants to open shops. Tom wants to open shops with Chris. God bless them. Go for it. Get those billboards screaming out there in bright lights that there's a hobby. It's growing. It's not 2013 where it's shrinking. It's not 2003 when nobody was opening new shops. This is the best thing ever. And I love that. I love that people are going out there and going for it.
Now, with Michael Rubin's connection with celebrities and athletes, and you just happen to be in a great spot of the country where there's a lot of celebrities in Los Angeles, and you probably see them anyway, just around town and that sort of a thing. But, you know, does that add to the Fanatics connection, having you being more partnered with them? Or they're going to be more of kind of like the Rip Night type things where you have wrestlers coming in? My assumption is if I'm in your store, there could be a chance that an athlete walks in, or there could be a chance of a celebrity popping in, or there being an event like that, you know, where there's people coming in.
We've had conversations. I think that our proximity to Fanatics over here in Southern California, I think the ease of them getting an athlete into a hobby shop here in Southern California, whether it's mine or countless others here, is a competitive advantage. We literally built out a conference room in here thinking that we will have celebrity signers in here where they can have a little privacy and we can have a line that goes into that conference room. I'd love to see it. My daughter's taken over the events here, and we'll be open to conversations. We're not really looking for that new defensive back that's playing at UCLA. That is something we're looking for. But if somebody wants to bring in, you know, whether it's pop culture or whether it's an athlete, we'll have this place built to handle it and the marketing machine to get the word out.
It would be interesting too if you could kind of, with PSA being there, if you could set it up a signing where you can kind of do the PSA DNA thing, you know, the auto grade or the auto authentication kind of on site eventually. I don't know if that's something that would happen right out of the bat, but that would be kind of interesting if that was part of the package. Meaning, like, you got a guy coming in that's signing whoever that is, and then you can get those, send those off slabbed up PSA DNA, and it's all in one spot. That would be pretty neat.
We've talked about that. We are going to have PSA DNA regularly in here. Hopefully once a month is what we're kind of looking at right here. We can plan it around an autograph guest where literally, boom, it's right there. You can get it, you know, you get it right into the certification. Again, we're trying to build a flywheel for the customer, and I think that we're going to have things in here that you just simply haven't seen before. And hopefully dealers will be able to come in here and take ideas like they have at every shop that we've had along the way and tweak it to their needs and tweak it to their space or put different spins on it. And we're hoping what we're building here is something that folks will want to try to replicate. And hopefully the events that we have here and maybe the successes will be something that PSA can take across the country.
I'm going to see you in a few weeks at Fanatics Fest. Are you guys setting up out there, or is that just more visiting and hanging out, networking?
Oh, that's visiting, hanging out, drinking. I'm going to need a vacation from this place to be honest with you. I'm taking Daniel, my director of marketing. I'm taking Sammy and her boyfriend. I only set up at one show, and that's mine. I'm building a card show, and it's like, if I have an 8-foot table or 2 8-foot tables, I mean, realistically, what am I really going to bring? It's just not something we've ever done. We go to buy. Generally, when we go to the national, my buying team goes and just goes nuts over there. But we do the Burbank show twice a year. That's basically when we set up. But most people that go to the Burbank show kind of know about our retail store, and they're going to come here anyway. So, we just really don't set up shows unless we own them.
Well, you're living the dream. I've got 4 kids, and my oldest son is starting to get into cards, and I'm excited about that. My youngest son collects Pokemon cards, but the idea that you have your kids that are actually really into it is kind of like, seriously living the dream as a parent, I would think, and a business owner.
Yeah, I'm just moving away from the noise real quick.
No worries.
Planting showcases. To have my kids involved in all this is absolutely massive. Especially bringing in my daughter, who I never ever thought would come in here, and she's bought in. She loves the gaming, and we're adding decades to the Burbank brand. I mean, we don't really talk about, what happens when an owner passes away or wants to sell it. In most cases, over the decades, the kids haven't really wanted to jump in and take it over. But succession plans don't really get spoken of. You go to industry meetings and events, and it's not spoken on. It's kind of like a taboo almost, where, I'm pushing 60 right now. There's a lot of guys older than me that own stores, and talking to them, the kids really don't have an interest in. It's not an easy business to sell. And, just really got lucky with my kids because there's just no guarantees that they wanted to come into the family business. And my son he's the guy. He's the young goat. I mean, what he juggles in here is absolutely wild. And, he's smarter than I am. He's a better businessman for sure. I'm just a card guy that loves cards. And I
was going to ask you that. Did the kids think you're crazy for the new store, or is it something that they were behind as well? And you kind of said your son he's a big part of it. So it sounds like he was spearheading part of this.
No, to be honest with you, he just kind of trusts my father and my judgment.
Oh, okay. So that was you. All right. Yeah.
He saw the rent and he, because this place is over $40,000 a month between you, me, and whoever's watching. And
only a couple people.
Yeah. And, but then again, I told him, I'm like, Ryan, it's the best corner in the city. The best restaurant in the city is literally across the street. We got the airport down Hollywood Way one way. We got the studios another way. And we got 72 parking spots on a standalone business. And we'll be able to put almost everything and everybody under one roof. And, he came around to it. And, we've just been going to town. And, once he sees what this is going to look like, I have 25 people working on this today. So once he sees the finished product, he's going to wonder why we didn't do this earlier. So he's on board. My wife and my daughter think I'm absolutely insane for this. But, you got to have confidence in yourself. I can't expect Fanatics to make my living for me or anything else. We got to count on the talent within these 4 walls. And I believe that we have the talent to, pull it off and succeed and create something that the industry, in my opinion, really needs.
Absolutely. Well, Rob, I don't want to keep you any longer. We've been on for about 30 minutes, and I know that you're absolutely slammed. Any other kind of thoughts or anything else that you want to just throw out into the universe before we call it a day?
To see what we're doing here, follow us on IG at Burbank Cards. As we're getting this finalized and built, we'll be doing a lot of content out of here. And there's the one thing I like to say, and you've heard me say it a bunch of times, Dustin, is there's a silent majority and a vocal minority in this industry. I do firmly believe that 80% of the people that interact with cards are actually collectors, actually building collections, have focused topics that they enjoy, love getting their bubble mailers from eBay, and and just enjoying the hobby that way. And then there's the 20%, and you got some of the clown shows out there, and you got the loudest guys on the biggest soapboxes trying to get you to invest in this or break with that. And that gets all of the buzz. We're really building something for that 80%. And I think that we'll be able, oops. And I think that we're going to see a shift where it's going to become 30, 70, 60, 40. I'm hoping to get it to 50. No, I'm hoping that we'll take some of that vocal majority and turn them into that silent majority of folks that really, really rekindle their passion and remember when they were 12 and 13 and how they loved cards. Because I don't think people love cards as much as they used to. And we want to bring that love back.
Well, and you're in a unique position to speak on it because you're selling literally millions of singles every single year, single cards every single year. But I think you're right. The average Joe collector is not necessarily the loudest on social media. They're just trying to fill a binder, or they've got a box of cards or whatever they're doing. They're not necessarily trying to get everything out onto IG or to YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're really excited. I can't wait to have you out here. We'll shoot some content together, and just follow me. I watch almost all of your content. So you're one of the 5 that I make sure when a video pops and I'm going to watch it. So you keep up the good work.
Thanks, man. All right. Well, hey, I'll let you go. I'll see you in a few weeks out there in New York.
Most definitely. And we'll have to grab a beer, my friend. You be well.
Absolutely.
All
Take care, Rob. See ya.
Out.